what's the word, YouTube? I'm Leonine. If you're new to my channel, welcome. If you're not new, welcome back. Alright, y'all, so today's video is gonna be my first travel vlog. I'm going to Six Flags. So and y'all going with me. Y'all coming with me. Cause like what? Yeah, y'all coming with me. I do have to pack, but we only going there for 2 days, so I don't really need a big like suitcase. So I'm gonna use my tote bag because it's big enough for everything to fit in there. So let's get to it. All right, I'm gonna put the sandals first. I'm only bringing one pair of sandals because that's all I'm gonna be wearing, and then obviously I'm gonna bring a pair of slides too. But these are so pretty. Like, look at them. Y'all, the camera not doing them justice, but they're real cute. And then we're gonna put this dress in here. It's still in the package. It's just a pink. It's like a long pink dress. Then I have this cute two-piece. It's like a shirt plus a skirt set. It's blue. Put this in there. This little romper. Underwear and things. Put it on the side, and then this is just like loungewear. Just put it here. Push it down. More loungewear. And then I'm gonna put this in here. This is where all my toiletries will go. We're just gonna put it on top. And here's how it looks. Yeah, nice and organized. Alright, I'm about to pack my toiletries real quick. Joe. There we go. Okay, as I can see, I am in the car. We about to head out in a little bit. We just came from CVS. We had to get my sister a couple things, and then we went to the post office so we can mail it to her. I know one thing, it's mad hot outside. It's like it's 93 degrees, but it feels like 100. So I'm gonna get back to y'all when we get to the actual Six Flags and we get to our hotel and stuff. I'm gonna show y'all like the tour and all that. Yeah, so we're at the safari. It took us that long to even freaking get here. But we're here and it's hot. I do not know if I can tell, but it's like 100 degrees. I'm waiting on my mom so we can go in here and see these animals. But yeah.
pick a lane, find an open seat, guys. The gates are open, just push right through. There you go. When you find a seat, please don't pull your seatbelt.
They are. There's going to be a herd of Roosevelt elk. These elk are native of the Pacific Northwest, state Alaska, Northern California, and Washington State. There's some more rhea on the way to those Roosevelt elk. Now, these guys have antlers that grow in the spring and fall off in the fall, winter. So they're so fast growing, they are covered with something called velvet. Gives them all the nutrients they need to grow. Sometimes they like to scratch that velvet off on our trees, which is why they're covered, not good for the trees or for their antlers. Now these guys were hunted almost to extinction back in the 1800s. I do see, as we come around this corner up on the left-hand side, up by the fence, a herd of fallow deer. Now fallow deer are a gaming species brought over from Eurasia, similar to New Jersey's white-tailed deer. Now, however, you'll notice the difference. So right after this kind of enclosure that has hay in it, they'll be up there. There they are. That's a herd of females, the light-colored herd. Now, it's kind of hard to see, but they still have their spots. They're not fawns. White-tailed deers have, fawns have spots, but they're adult females. There's a pure white one in there. She's not an albino. She's what's known as leucistic. She's blue eyes, but she does have some melanin in her system. Here are some more rhea. Now the rhea, in the 10th of millions in the early 1800s, but the westward expansion brought about they were hunting because of the railroad system putting in. They were in the way of the railroad, and bovine disease killed many of them. We've had about 5 or 6 babies this year. You can see them. They're that beautiful rust color. As they get older, they'll lose that color and look like their parents. Now they're looking kind of shabby, and that's because they're losing their winter coat. That coat is so heavy, it snows. The snow will just pile up on top of it, it doesn't melt. And summer is kind of hit like that, so they're still in the process of losing that coat. Now a common misconception is bison and buffalo are the same thing, but they're not. We use it interchangeably, and that's fine. But bison are from North America and Europe, and buffalo are really from Africa. Well, let's see. We're going to see a lot of ostriches in here, which is our second ratite, or flightless bird. There's a lot, but I am going to point out the ones even that are far away. Up on this hill on the left-hand side is a male ostrich. I can tell because he's black. Male ostriches are black, females are gray.
Okay. And he's big.
Yes, they're huge. They are the biggest bird, the tallest bird, and the fastest. The males can be about 9 feet tall, and they run about 43 miles an hour. Now, we're going to talk about these. The girls are not out today. Our elephants are not out today. They weigh 14,000 pounds. We can't force them out if they don't want to come out. This is where they usually are. Now, elephants are critically endangered, which is a problem, because they are keystone animals. That means if they were to disappear off the earth. So as we swing around, we're going to see a couple things in here. We're going to see some more ostrich. We're also going to see the white rhino, some Grant's zebras, and the water buffalo. They've never been domesticated. A lot of people think they look like fancy horses, but they're actually more closely related to donkeys. They just don't have that nice, sweet donkey personality. We'll talk more about them on the way around. There's another good look at them. In this little pit of water, those are Asian water buffalo. Now you might be saying, Marianne, these over in Africa. Why are they here? Simple reason. They need to be within 20 miles of a water source to survive. We have the most water source right here in Africa, so this is where our Asian animals live. They're domesticated, beast of burden, used on farms, kind of endangered due to crossbreeding. They're also known for their really fatty milk that you can make the rhea. Both of the female ostrich will sit on the eggs and rear the children. We do have some ostrich babies in the next section we'll look through, and you'll see mom and dad are both with them. We're coming up on the white rhino, and they're going to say, and their horns. In a poacher's dream, because they have horrible eyesight, they can only see about 3 feet in front of them, so they don't see the poachers coming. They are the last of the remaining mega herbivores, eating about 300 pounds of vegetation a day, just like elephants and hippopotamuses. They do have really good hearing. They just can't see very well. Another guy on this side. Some more zebra. Now we know that zebras have black and white stripes, but what you might not know is those stripes are unique to that zebra. Just like the human fingerprint, no two zebras have the same stripe pattern. And a herd of zebra is called a dazzle. And that's thought because when they're running away from prey, they run as a herd. And they're so dazzling, those stripes, and confusing that the predator cannot choose to find one zebra from another. We'll see ostrich throughout the whole tour. The chicks are really small. They're actually growing really fast. Can you see them in the grass?
I see him, yeah.
Yes. Those chicks will grow about a foot a month. They're really cool because he's water bugs. On the left side of this tree, we have another herd of fallow deer. Males and females. They also have that velvet on their antlers. So since we saw them, I'm going to talk about the Ellipses water buck. And mixed in there is a blue ones with that white ellipses shape on their rear end, kind of like they sat on a painted toilet. The blue wildebeest. They take part of the Great Migration in Africa, where millions of gazelles and zebras kind of roam around. There's the fallow deer. You can see their spots. The Ellipses water buck gets away from their prey by entering the water. Go. Known as the ghost of the forest. Not a lot is known about them in the wild because they're crepuscular. They come out at dawn and dusk, so we don't really know what they do in the daytime. Probably what they're doing here. They like to sleep. And by that December, the first babies were born, and there's now about 600 back in the water. So that's a conservation success story. Also, look how their horns line up perfectly. It's net-like. They have that net-like pattern, very geometric shaped on their bodies. They are the tallest of the giraffes. Their necks are 7 feet long. Their legs are 6 feet long. Their necks are 7 feet long. They have the same amount of vertebrae. So here's Savannah Sunset. This is upscale of the landing suites. We've got another male ostrich under the feeder over here. Fun fact about the ostrich is their eyeball is the biggest in the animal kingdom. It's 2 inches across, or has a 2-inch diameter. On the same side, looks like we have a female black buck. Ah, no, that's maybe a young male. Another female ostrich. And these are black bucks as well. Now, with that, they're fighting. The black bucks are all born a fawn color, and you can't really see them, but that male at the feeder is a beautiful chocolate brown. The males will turn into that and have these a little smaller and pointy. Way back by the fence, and we will see another herd of them back there. They are the black, they are Ugai. They're Barbary sheep. Even though they're called sheep, they live on a... There are 3 males. Now it's mating season, so you might see their legs are really bright red. That's a beautiful male black buck. Left-hand side, it's going to be a female side. That is the sable antelope, one of the largest of the African antelopes, weighing about 500 pounds. Their horns are about 5 feet long. They don't have any really natural predators. However, if someone decided to mess with them, they don't back down. They are fierce. They've been known to throw lions over their heads with those horns. The white ones, those are addax. They're desert nomadic animals, highly critically endangered, only 90 left in the wild. Beautiful black bucks. And those are black wildebeest, the smaller relative of the blue wildebeest that we saw before. True social cats living in prides. Other types of cats like to live independently. Now these guys are always sleeping, and there's a reason for that. Females need to sleep about 18 hours a day. Males need to sleep about 20. Not only due to their environmental reasons, it's hot, but their heart is just a little too small for their body. So they need to conserve a lot of energy. That's why they're ambush hunters. They're not like chase them down hunters. They will ambush. They too are keystone animals. If they were to disappear off the face of the earth, it would change the environment they live in drastically, and we would lose a lot more animals. Things would be very different. The lion. So the oldest lion is the head, or the leader of the pride. And we're headed into Black Bear Ridge, way wave to our gate guard as we pass, doing their job out in this heat today. Climbers. Now they like this marshy land, so they've adapted to that. Their hind legs are longer than their front legs. They have elongated hooves to help them get through this muddy area, both males and females. They too have that velvet on their antlers, just like the Roosevelt elk. Genus, it's larger than the antelope genus. It's also the slowest. They only run about 25 miles an hour, which sounds fast, but in antelope world, it's not very fast. However, if they're startled, they can jump 8 feet in the air, so if they wanted to, they could jump right on this truck. The state stripes are thought to be until they can find each other in the forest. So, here we go. You can see how he's losing his. Like I said, hot summer just hit, so he's still working on that. You can see that nice lump of muscle in between his shoulder blades. And here they are, hanging out in the pond. I swear they gossip about us. Doesn't it look like they're talking about us? Like, oh, here they come. What are you going to do? I'm just going to hang out. They just sit there. And they will sit there. It'll be pouring. It'll be freezing. It'll be like hot. They don't care. They're in the pond. They love it. Look at that guy. He's like sleeping. He's sleeping too. Must be nice for us. Now Stanley's very used to humans. These are not Stanley, but they're just hot in their jacuzzi. Here comes Stanley. Now Stanley was born to a first-time mom, not the best mom in the world, so he had to be raised by the vets. So he's very used to people and used to the truck. Sometimes he waves when you go by. Is he waving? Sometimes he waves. Stanley, you gonna wave? Oh, he looks hot today. There we go. I thought he was gonna do it. Sometimes he waves his paw. Again, he's way behind on losing that winter coat. It just hit. Summer just hit. It was like cold and now hot. All right, and that brings us to the conservation area of the tour. It's gonna get a little bit cooler in here. The wind is gonna pick up, and that's due to all the vegetation. It's the emu. And we're going to look for some red kangaroo. I'm going to wave to our gate guard. Hello. So the red kangaroo, only the males are red. The females are gray. They're partially nocturnal. They don't sleep all day like hamsters, but they do rest in the day. Usually there's a bunch of pouches. The jelly will go in and out of that pouch, so it's quite large. Also notice how they're laying down with their legs kind of sprawled out like that to the side. That's because their hip bones are connected or fused to their leg bones and they can't walk like we can. That's what makes them excellent jumpers. Here's that emu on the left-hand side. Size-wise, it's right in between the rhea and the ostrich. It's about 7 feet tall. They are the only birds in the world with calf muscles. They can jump about 6 feet in the air. Some more emu. Now they do have wings, just like the ostrich and the rhea, but they're not for flying, obviously. They more have them out to like as rudders when they're running. So then the kangaroo, they can jump about 10 feet in the air or about 20 feet across, which is larger than a school bus. Their tails act as a counterbalance because they do lean forward when they're jumping. Kind of acts like a third foot sometimes too. They sit on it, so they'll put it underneath them and kind of sit on it. And with that, we're going to enter tiger country. We're going to see the Bengal tiger and the Siberian tiger. Both are critically endangered. Only 2,900 Bengals left and 600 Siberians left in the wild. Our Bengal tiger is first. They are not social cats. They like to live independently. However, there are exceptions to that rule, which we'll talk about in a minute. There's our Bengal in the back. She's an older girl. Now you notice she's not black and orange like a traditional tiger, and that's because Bengals can come in any color. Black and white, all white, black and orange, or this beautiful toasted kind of marshmallow color that our girl is. Tigers are apex predators, meaning they're at the top of the food chain. They don't have anything that hunts them. They are fast runners, they can swim, they can climb, they're lethal in the wild. So now, I just said that tigers are not social cats. However, the next ones are going to see are living together, and there's a reason for that. They're kind of celebrities. They were born a few years ago, and they made national news. That's because their mom had gave birth to 5 in a litter, which is unheard of. They usually only have 1 or 2 in a litter. So not only alone, we raised the tiger population of the world by 1%. So they were in the national news. They're coming up over here on the left. So that's why they live together. They are bonded. They will stay together. In the wild, this would not happen. They're laying under this tree. Now, there are 4 girls and a boy in the litter. I can't tell you which is which, because unlike lions, they're not really distinguishable, males and females. Tigers all look the same. There's no distinguishing feature, like a male lion has a mane. Tigers don't have that. Their mom and dad live across the street. Now, a tiger's roar can only be heard about 3 miles away, as opposed to the lion, which is 5 miles. And over here is mom and dad. We also have a pair of bonded sisters, same reason that they're living together, not the norm in the wild. But here they were raised together, so they will stay together. They were out roaming around today, so I don't know if they're somewhere out there. We're going to see a horse. They also have a chunkier fur. It's a nilgai. Nilgais look like deer, and if she was standing up, you would see it looks like she has gym socks. So we'll see more. So here's the Odad. They like to climb like goats. The males also have the big chunky horns that are curved. The females kind of gracefully go out. The males also have that really hairy chest. You can see by their faces. Yep, they look like goats too. Over on the other side, they like to hang out on the mountain. It's hot, so they're under the tree. And as we enter Baboon Village, I'm going to tell you about some other animals we're going to see in there as well. We're not just going to see baboons. And I think there's some nilgai under that tree up there on the right-hand side. And we're going to see some in Baboon Village as well. So I'm going to talk about the nilgai. They're the ones that look like deer with white gym socks on. They are not endangered at all. As a matter of fact, they're almost overpopulated right now. And that's because their main predator is the tiger. So as the tiger population drops at all, almost too many. Now in here we're going to see more of those black bucks. That's that beautiful chocolate male I was talking about with the twisty horns. This is almost like the black buck nursery. They're all fawn colors because they're all young, juvenile males and females, and some babies. That's a black buck in with those nilgai. They can't figure out the fencing system sometimes. It's like, guys, go around. They'll figure it out. So in the center you can see these black bucks. Now, black bucks don't have a birthing season, so they can give birth whenever. They do about twice a year, so we always have a lot of babies in there. Again, these are males and females. They're young. That's why they're still the fawn color. They are excellent athletes. They can run up to 50 miles an hour. They are the second fastest land animal right after the cheetah. Super fast. That's a nilgai. And coming around, we're going to enter Baboon Village. We don't let them free roam anymore. They'd be right on the truck with us. We have olive baboons found in 25 countries in Africa. They have a lot of gym equipment, so look on the gym equipment. Yep, there's some up there. They like to climb. They do have tails, but they're not prehensile tails like monkeys, so they can't swing from them, but they do like to climb. Now that one is grooming the other. That's a sign of respect. It's usually a younger baboon grooming an older baboon. They too are opportunistic omnivores, so look out in the field for more because they do snack. They'll eat anything. The females are the ones with that really well-known red rear end, the red bump. The males don't have that. They live in groups called troops. Males come and go from the troops. They like to befriend other females and join their troop. The females tend to stay. A lot of their gym equipment is donated, fire hoses. If you've ever been to the park back in the day, this is part of the Great American Spring Machine. Really good look at the black buck on the right-hand side. See, we got some babies in there. We always do. a teeny one. Coming around and we'll see if we got any more. All of that booths. Their enclosure is really great. It's air conditioned in the summer and heated in the winter, so sometimes they hang out